Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Game and Frame's preseason coverage for the spring 2022 Cosmopolitan League season. We're joined by Francisco Ranieri, the head coach of New York Ukrainians of Division Two. Francisco, thank you for joining us. And in looking back at the Ukrainians, doing a little bit of research for this, I had known that the club had a lot of history. Didn't realize just how much history there was. Founded in 1947, winners of a U.S. Open Cup in 1965, have won the Cosmopolitan League, have done a lot in the New York soccer scene. So I'm curious to hear your history with the New York Ukrainians.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me. Excited to be part of Game Frame and this preseason conversation. So, you're absolutely right. This club has a long history. When I joined, was roughly a couple of 2.5 years ago, I would say. To 3 years ago, I realized how important was in New York City, like a soccer landscape. In fact, I remember Steve Kovalenko, which is our manager and longstanding member of the Cosmopolitan Soccer League. He actually told me that at some point they play against Fiorentina, which plays in Serie A, so it was very professional. They used to have some professional players coming all the way to Ukraine's and having like very important clubs and important games, as you just said, around the US as well. So I'm very proud to be part of this of this club. As you can see, I'm wearing all the gears and things.
So let's get into the fall season. Definitely one that is a lot tighter than I think a lot of people were anticipating going into Division Two. Currently set third in the league. FC Japan and New York International sitting behind you with a game in hand apiece. It's going to be very competitive going into the second half of the season, looking at those promotion playoff spots and even at CPR in first. So talk to me about the fall season. I know that you guys had a lot of success against teams at the bottom of the league. In the bottom six, you won 5, drew 1, but it was those top 4 teams where you guys grabbed just 4 points of the available 12. So talk to me about that fall season and talk to me about coming out of a pandemic and going back into the full season swing, just how much of an adjustment it's been for you guys.
Yeah, sure. So I think your analysis is right. I always see truths on behind the numbers, and I feel that we are a kind of team that plays a good soccer. And we do feel that we have difficulties when we find, let's say, a more physically tougher and better organized tactically team, such as you mentioned, Central Park Rangers is one of those, and New York International is another one where we lost with both of the teams. And that is not necessarily just because they are, let's say, they play better soccer than us, because I feel they are, physically strong and I mentioned we suffer that. We're not able to do our usual game, which we like to play a lot left and right, and finding the right penetrations. We rarely play very vertically, but we go more horizontally. So you're right. We have issue with this kind of team, and I would say it as well. We've been relatively unlucky with actually both of these games. We did a very stupid, unfortunately, mistakes in defense, and the opponents took advantage. And this is eventually how you win. Games and you win leagues, right? So well done to them. And in terms of it's good. It's been tight. It's been a tight fall. And exciting at the same time. So I think, as you mentioned, we're still there, fighting for getting promoted. I think it's not a lie, and it's not a secret that this is our goal this season.
So, looking at your fall season, do you think there were any performances where you really, where the product on the pitch was really what you were envisioning, where you guys really got out there, played the style of football that you wanted to, and came away from that with the result, feeling that you've played the style of football that you have intended to put out on the pitch?
Yeah, those are nice questions. Yeah, there's been multiple games where I felt satisfied with my guys. There are persons, and I really enjoyed the latest game that we do with missiles. So we won 2-0 there, but I feel it was a nice game, but I feel that even though they were above us, they were number 2 in the league and they still are above us. I think we'll be able to show them a very good, proof of characters. So that is one. I also enjoy a lot when we play against New York, the DP, right, department. So there was like a very nice win, 4-0. Another win that I enjoy as well was against Manhattan Celtic. We won 2-0, but we found a worth it opponent, I would say. And going back to what I was telling you before, I feel that we lost as well a point in the full season against Bloc Espanyol. I'm really a big fan of Bloc Espanyol, I might say, Bloc FC. It seems to be a team that when they play at home is really difficult to beat. And we play at their field. We tied 1-1, but it was also a very great game. And I'm happy because we were losing, but I'm happy they were able to tie the game towards last minute almost.
Talk to me about your coaching philosophy. What does if you were to have your ideal setup on the field and you were to play the style of football that you personally want to put out on a week in and week in basis, because we have seen the results, and you have one of the highest scoring offenses in the league. You have one of the lowest scoring defenses in the league. So very defensively and structurally sound. What does the Francesco Ranieri style of football look like?
Sure. So, I mean, as a team, we play like as most of the current like modern soccer. We like to play with 4 in defense, and then we have 2 has a holding mid, or maybe depends on who we play against, but otherwise we have 2 central mid with one number 10 on front of them, and then we have 2 wide wings on left and right, and the number 9, which is it depends on who we have availability here. There could be a tall guy that is able to hold the ball and let all the teams comes out, or we can have a smaller type of a striker that is able to go in between the lines and penetrations. So the type of soccer that I like, and I think we are manifesting as a team, is where we really try to build the actions from the back. I always encourage my defenders to don't just throw the ball up front, don't play vertically, just always try to play to find a solution, whether it's right, left or right. And if in case we're getting all the way on one side, for instance, we're on the right wings, and we see there is no space, just pause, relax, find alternative, maybe come back, because there's going to be another opening on the other side. So it's really the kind of soccer that I like, is where we try to possess the ball as much as we can, and don't get aggressive and don't get frustrated if the goal doesn't come, or if we don't find the spaces. Then we play vertically. The team, the games that we maybe lost this season, or we could have done better, is when we got frustrated and we start playing long ball, and this is not really our style. So that's the kind of I like to win, of course, but it's not the typical catenaccio. I like to play, from one side to another, overlaps with the cross on the right, cross on the left. I like to have the right back and the left back to, overlap and push as well, help with the forward. And internally, I like to give some freedom to the number 10, which can go and help sometimes the forward, and sometimes there's a need that it comes and help with the midfield as well. So that's kind of that. Does it give you an answer and understanding how you'd like to play?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So going more back into your personal history, you've been with the club for 2.5 years. You've been around this Cosmopolitan League side. How have you seen the league develop in those 2.5 years as a coach? Have you seen the talent rise? Have you seen it become more dynamic? Have you seen a bit more structure in the league? What has the landscape of the Cosmopolitan League looked like to you over these last 2.5 years?
Sure. Before the coach, I was actually playing. So I play for Central Park Rangers. I play for Mall America. I played as well for a little bit, for Beyond FC. So I've been around the Cosmopolitan League, I would say, since the last 7-8 years. So I could see definitely the improvement from the structure perspective. I've seen some team. First of all, we have you guys. Like the fact that gaming frame kicked in, I think it shows really the combinations of more organization, but also more desire to do things better. and I've definitely seen bad organization in general. When I joined, I remember I used to play. I played a little bit in Metro 1, then I played in Division 2 and so on. I feel certainly the league has improved, but now as a coach, I'm exposed as well to the vibes or the New York soccer in the more like on more depth, because I'm able to expose to talk to other manager or other coaches, and you can see there is a lot of desire to have fun, but also to do things well. Eventually, everybody wants to try to win, which is great. I have to tell you, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm a big fan of Japan as well, because I love how organized they are. And to me, if every team would be like Japan, and this tournament would be even more fun than it is.
Well, I definitely think, in talking with a lot of people around the Ukrainians organization, kind of just when we've been out, I know you guys have a very strong presence in the Ukrainian community within New York. And like FC Japan and like clubs like Sanzak and like Block, with that very strong, cultural community and background, if more, what do you think is the role of New York Ukrainian SC in the New York soccer community?
So we do have as well a youth program, so which we are in a development as well, and we have now in Manhattan right now. So we do have also a relationship with in other New Yorkers organization. There is Ukrainians New York organization, the one in New Jersey, the one in Yonkers, for instance, right? So I think we are as specifically New York Ukrainians, we are privileged because we practice at McMahon Park, which is it's a great place where we can attract talented, but also when kids want to maybe be part of the clubs, they have what I'm trying to say. We are visible because we are lucky to be in McMahon Park, right? So, and I think the fact that as well that as a company, that as a club, we have now established as well, a clubhouse just in Greenpoint. It shows as well the commitment not only from the soccer perspective, but also to be part of the community. So I'm, as I mentioned, I'm excited and honored to be part of this club that has a lot of history, but also that is doing a good plan for the future. So, and the fact that the players and members can have a house to go, like a home to go, I think it shows there is a lot of excitement and desire to keep improving and do something well.
So, as you said, the Ukrainians are much more than the first team. You have a reserve team and a third team down in the Metropolitan Division. So, talk to me a bit more, I guess, about the structure of the Ukrainian soccer pyramid.
Yeah, absolutely. Historically, today we have 3 teams, right? We're the first Division 1, and then we have reserve team. Sorry, let me rephrase it. We have 3 teams, as you know. The first one is in Division 2, then the reserve, and then we have the third team is in the Metro, in Division 3. Sorry. So division, of course, and I think historically the reserve team has always been, I would say, doing better than the first team. I think they're able to build over the years a group of people. They create kind of a nucleus, a strong friendship, and then you can see that on the result. They always been on the top. And last year we were lucky, and also we were I think good in winning the season with the reserve. We are also now on the top, and I think this is the hope as well to fight for the win of the season as well. I think one of the advantage I believe on having such a competitive reserve team that also when we practice together, the reserve team, the first team is pushed, and so they have the same peer. So I might say in New Yorkers, Ukrainians, I mean, the idea is that we are the first or reserve team in terms of quality of players. They are many players they could play both, I would say. So and that's, as a coach, I am lucky to have the chance to go out on the reserve team and not support because some of those players have been that's also very important in the first team. And then it comes to the third team. This is a brand new one for this season. I think we are still starting to create the sense of unions and consistency, and that we did decent, I would say, but we are hoping to cement in a way this team in the third, during the spring season. But overall, I feel I can only see more progress. I can only see more teams for the clubs as we move forward with with the house club, and as we move forward in creating more serious programs, soccer programs.
And like you said, with the competition that the second team offers, and now that you have that third side in Division 3, do you think there's going to be even more competition for places going up the ladder?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely right. And it's why we want to create an infrastructure where if the players does well, it gets rewarded in a way and plays with in a more higher competition. And in the same way, we want to we see like a third team has a how can I say has a place where we can grow players, right? Maybe younger players, they are talented, but are not like experienced enough to play on the first team. So we let them grow in a third team, and that's absolutely the goal here.
So let's shift a little bit going towards the spring season. I know prior to this, we were talking a little bit about your preseason preparation. Like you said, you've had some tryouts. Should we be expecting any new flashy signings for New York Ukrainians going into the spring season? Are we going to see a new look New York Ukrainian in Division 2?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of the group. I think for me, it's not about the talent players. It's about the 15, 16 guys. They are part of that group. Then sometimes 11 play of their 15. Sometimes other 11 plays out of these 15, 16 people. Of course, we always welcome new talented players where is the need for it. But I'm a big fan of sticking with the group. They understand the mentality, and personally, they're able to create a sense of family. Because at the end of the day, we all have to fight in the field for each other. And if there's an outsider that comes and thinks that it's Cristiano Ronaldo, whatever it is, but doesn't really fit with the culture, I don't think that would be good for the team. So that said, we are doing a tryout. So just bear in mind that we have 3 teams, right? We have the first team, we have the reserve team, and we have as well the third team in the Metropolitan. So we are constantly, I would say constantly, but we are open to see other players. We want to give the chance to other players to come and show what they can do, and if they can be addition to the team. Certainly, we are kind of shifting something here and there, combination between the first team, the reserve team, some of the third team players that also support the other teams, like moving forward. So we're doing that considerations, but the bulk of the team, I believe, is going to be the same. And something that going back quickly on the fall season is that sometimes we had a lack of players. Showing if I had 2 or 3 more players in my disposal, the game would have gone differently. So that's something we have to make sure to maybe add more players rather than replacing some more players.
So then finally, looking ahead towards the spring season, as you've said, you're sitting in a spot right now where you're contending for whether it be the Division 2 title or that playoff promotion spot. You've got Japan and New York International right behind you, both with a match in hand. What does it take for New York Ukrainian to get themselves into Division 1 going into the spring season?
Yeah, so I do believe that as a team, we have equipped to fight for the promotion. Of course, as I mentioned last year, we were only 1 point short to get the playoff. The way that I look at it, the fall season is going to be extremely exciting. I see, all the 5, like CPR, Missile, us, International in Japan. I think it's probably the best candidate right now, even though I'm feeling, Manhattan Celtic has been improving and might improve more. What we can do, I think as a team, we can potentially, even finish first. If we do the right things. We have next month is going to be extremely tough, I would say. The first 3 games, we play against CPR out of the get-go as soon as the season starts. Then we play 2 weeks later against international. But that advantage this time is that we will play home rather than the first season we play away. And I feel when we play home, we can certainly feel the benefits. So I'm hoping that now that we know how those two teams plays, and as well as we play home, hopefully we can have an edge. And it's a long season, but I think from this point ahead, every single point counts. So I will tell my guys to treat it every single games, especially the first months, as almost a final. Because if we manage to get the first 3 points, then we get closer to the top, and it's about building the momentum. And I do feel we have the capabilities to do that. We need some more concentrations in not conceding certain goal, and some also precision on the top. Because to convert some opportunities, because we're a team that builds a lot, but the conversion rate is relatively low compared to what we built.
And just to wrap up, talk to us about the friendly confines of McMahon Park, because it's definitely one of the more, I think, unique venues in the Cosmopolitan League. You're not dealing with the, I guess, congestion of Randall's Island for home games, and we've covered Masil a couple times at McMahon Park, and it definitely is one of the more interesting venues that we've seen Cosmopolitan League soccer played on. So I guess just talk to me a little bit about that sort of environment.
So we're and McMahon Park is a great. I think in terms of field itself, the turf is it's good. There are some maintenance that is needed here and there to be done. In terms of environment, it is in the center of Williamsburg, of course, in the center of, let's say, an upcoming or like a nice neighborhood. So the guys love to come here because they are, when there are always people around, there are always people doing their own sports, so they can stop and watch the game. So having the kind of audience as well helps the player to maybe give it more, play more, or fight a little bit more. And the fact that as well that it does help. That does happen like once in a while that after the game we go and have a beer somewhere together like as a team. So I think McCarran it's a nice place, a nice field, and there is constant, even when we train or we play home games, there is the people around doing sports activity, which is help as well, to give it more and more.
Absolutely. Well, Francesco, thank you so much for talking to us. Good luck to New York Ukrainians in the Division 2 season. We look forward to catching you guys during the spring season and helping broadcast your strides towards Division 1.
All right. Thank you so much, Jacob. I appreciate it. Thank you for